Okay, welcome to today's class. In our last class, we talked about automated testing, right? So in this particular class, we are going to complete it, right? What we did in our last class was just automated testing for uh, authentication. So in this particular class, we are going to set up the admin test and then the test for users, right? So that's what we are going to do. So this class might not be too long because we are just going to conclude on what we didn't do in the last class. So we're going to just set up automated tests for admin and user endpoints. Okay, so let's start already. Okay, so looking at this, right? This was the last thing we did, right? So we set up tests, right, for registering a user, which is this, then registering an admin, then logging in a user, and then we tested every other thing, then logging in an admin, then we tested everything here too. Okay, so this is cool. Now, if you look at it, we also did set up and tear down. So before all is for like setting up things, tear down is like to disconnect what's maybe things that you're not going to use any longer. Okay, now there are different approach you can use. If I want to test everything, that's to test the admin, test the user and everything. When once I execute this one line of like maybe execute this one file, I can just write everything below. Maybe I would probably start another describe. Maybe I would say here I would say that the describe, maybe the describe should be admin. What should I write? Maybe testing admin routes, right? Then I can then start writing my test inside here. Then I could do the same thing for user routes. So maybe I'll say testing user routes. So in here, I could then start writing my tests here and also here too, right? I could start writing my test here, but well, this is okay. But I like separating it, right? Because I want a situation where if I want to just test only user routes without having admin execute anything, I can do that. Then if I'm testing admin, right? Maybe nothing should be tested on the user's part. So what I would rather do is I'll just create another test here. I could just call this a new file. I could say, let me start with admin test. Or a better thing to do, just name it admin.test.js. So instead of saying auth test, you can just say auth.test.js, right? You can also create another one. We'll say user.test.js. Now, these tests I'm setting up are end-to-end tests, right? There are three basic kinds of tests: unit tests, their end-to-end test, and their integration test. So, but I like focusing on unit and integration. So unit test, as the name implies, is just a unit. For example, if I just write, let's say for each route, right, I write a separate file that has one test in it, and that test is just for that particular route, right? That test can be called a unit test, right? So this one, auth route, has a collection of tests inside: test for login, test for logging in a user and admin, test for registering user and admin. So these are like, and so from this particular set of routes, right? I'm sending requests to this particular set of routes, right? Not all the sets of routes, not all the routes. So you could call this an end-to-end test, right? So that's the difference between integration. Sorry, that's the difference between unit test, integration test. Sorry, unit test and end-to-end test, right? So then sometimes integration tests are collections of end-to-end tests. So you want to test everything, like the whole app, all the features, right? Then you might want to, you might consider running all your end-to-end tests, maybe in a sequence, in a particular sequence. So that would be an integration test. An integration test can mean you're also writing every the test for every route, right? Everything, maybe one particular file or so. And each time you make that file, you just know that each and every endpoint or each and every feature on your app, right, is being tested, or page is being tested. Okay, so let's write test for admin. And I know that I'll be using most of the things I have here. I'll just simply copy this and paste here again. Okay, so we know that what can admins do? Admins admins are allowed to post a quiz. They can get a quiz by ID. They can change a quiz, and then I didn't integrate deleting of quiz. Okay, so let's see how we can start on that. So this is what we can do here. Sorry. On this route, we can say before all that we want to set up, we can say admin token. Admin token can be an empty string. Then after, we don't need to delete the user's model again. What we probably need to clear is the quiz model. Now, the reason why I do this, deleting user model, is because, for example, if you're in auth, right, you want to test it over and over again and it shouldn't fail. So if an email already exists, it will tell you that that email already exists, right? And might make your test to fail. So before all, I want to like clear my database and make sure nothing is there, or at least nothing, the emails I'm going to use to test are not already on the database. Then after that, user model and that, so I could decide to clear that thing, right? So now what I'll do is I want to clear the quiz model. Or is it, yeah, quiz model, right? Then I would also want to try and log in this particular user, which is that admin. Remember that the admin here has the admin. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Let's see. How do we log in an admin? So we log in an admin by sending this request. So I can just simply copy this, come to the admin, paste it here. But this time, let me see what I did here. Yeah, request the body dot token. Okay, what I'll do here is I'll say, instead of writing expect, I would say that the admin token should be equals to request. Sorry, is it request response dot body dot token? So I've set that up. So while after it has cleared the quiz model, the next thing it is going to do is it's going to try to log in there and save the token as admin token, which is what you're. Okay, what is it saying? It's declared, but it's never read. Okay. So let me see. Let me see. Admin is declared, but is never read. Okay. Okay, so I think what I'll just do is I'll just continue. I'll say describe, and I'll say testing admin routes. Then So I think I should just put this in here. I don't know. This should be activated by now. Anyways, I'll just say log in the admin, but I don't think there's going to be any test for this. Or I'll just write a simple test for each chart. Hmm. Is at this point I could also say, is at this point I could say that that admin token should be equal to, yeah, so it notices it now. Okay, then what I could do here is I could then say that expect RAQ dot or response dot status to be 201. So I'm just doing, I know login would probably work, but I'm just doing that because of this line. So that will be 201. Then we want to test adding of quiz. So I would say test. I could just simply copy this and change things. Or to start, I would say add a quiz. Then in add a quiz, I'd say response should be equals to await. This is going to be async. Request for that app dot post. Of course, where is the post going to? Simply I'll just use what I have here to create whatever I want to create. So I know it's at /v1 /v1 /admin /quiz. Then now to set a header, right? To set a header, like for example, the authorization header, you use the set keyword to set it. Okay. Send is used to send body, the body of your request, right? Set is used to set headers like authorization, content type, and all the stuff. The content type is by default JSON. So we would say set authorization to be bearer and then the token. Okay, then once we do this, we can then integrate this. We can then say dot send. I can simply just copy this. But I'll say this should be, this should be question 1. I would want to remove this, although they would work. It will work even if I don't remove them. Okay, so when we add a quiz, what is the response we should get? Should get 201 with the message of quiz created. So I'd say that I'm expecting the response. Okay, this is outside the test, sorry. So inside the test, I would say I'm expecting a response status of 201, and I'm expecting the response.body.message to be quiz created. Beautiful. So after that, I should be able to get quiz, right? So I should be able to get this quiz. So let me not copy it. I'll just say test get the added quiz. Then that will still have the same procedure. So I'll just say this would be I think I did getting a quiz by a number instead. Okay, getting quiz by an ID. Okay, and editing that quiz. Okay, beautiful. So I'll just simply come back here. I can get a quiz by I can get a list of quiz. So that would be doing that. This is going to be a get request. Of course, I don't need that. Then what else can I do? I can get a quiz by ID. So let me get a quiz by ID. And also copy this, and I can say, this should be a get a list of quiz, right? To get a list of quiz. Then here, you can get a quiz by ID or get quiz by ID. So this would just simply be quiz by ID and the ID. Now, this is the thing. When you're testing here, you can also create, you can say quiz ID equals to an empty string. Then down here, you can simply say, so let's see the test for this. We are getting a list of quiz. What do we get back? We get a status of 200. We get a status of 200. Then we also get quiz list. So body quiz list. This list is going to be so you're also allowed to do this. You can say that the type of quiz should be objects. Then we also know that since we have only one quiz, right? That the quiz body quiz list. So the quiz number for that one quiz is going to be 1. So quiz list dot docs at 0 because docs is going to be an array. So the first dot quiz number should be 1. Remember that quiz as we added a quiz by its number, by its question number. Then what we can also do here is we can say that the quiz ID should be equals to underscore ID here. So irrespective of, because remember that we are clearing the whole database here of all the quiz it has. So when we add one quiz, when we are getting a list of quiz, we are always going to get one quiz back. Then here, we can decide to write plus quiz ID. Then of course, we can test by saying we expect this should be 200, not 201. Yeah, let me just copy this one. So I'll just response dot body dot quiz dot so let's check here. What are we adding? Dot question. The question for that particular quiz should be that question. So for us to be sure that it is that quiz. Is there any need to change this? I don't think so. We can also add that, right? But if we add this, it means after changing, we need to check also if that change actually went through. So we can probably just keep this one pending. Okay, then let's try to test what we've done so far. Now, we'll just need to come here on our package.json. We'll change this to tests admin. And then we'll just write that we say admin.tests. So let's see npm run test admin. Let's see if everything works out well. Okay, so something happened, So to login went, login is in 200. Okay, assignment to a current variable. Okay. So let's come back here. We did a little mistake here. This was not supposed to be const, it was supposed to be let instead. Let's try it again. Okay, 2 passed and 2 failed. Oh, why did the other 2 fail? So let's see, to get a list of quiz. Oh, okay, to get a list of quiz is supposed to return 200. I don't know why I put 201 there. Then test login. So login is supposed to return 200, not 201. So I don't know why I even put 201 there. So I think those are the few things that failed. So let's test again and see. if everything went well. Beautiful. So our everything about our quiz is passing. So to log in and admin, check. Add a quiz, check. Get a list of quiz, check. Get a quiz by ID, check. Then let's go over to the users part. Now remember that, of course, we just have only one question now, right? So the user has to answer that particular question. So we'll come back here. I think I'm not using this quiz model, so I'll just remove it. I'll copy this whole part, then come back here to the users and then I'll do similar thing that I did here. I'll just copy this. Yeah, I'll copy this here, paste it. Of course, I don't want to clear the quiz model again, right? When testing this part. What I want there is the active quiz. So instead of clearing the quiz model, I'll clear active quiz. The active quiz model is what I'm going to clear, right? Because active quiz model is the quiz that I'm answering at that moment, right? Then I think I should add more questions. I should add like 2 questions. Yeah, so when in your test, you can add one question, right? Here I'm just adding just one question, right? Because, okay, here I'm getting a quiz by ID. I'm trying to check that particular question number, okay? So if I want to add another quiz, I'll just duplicate this. Maybe I'll say add a second quiz. I'll just make it, yeah, add a second quiz. So here I would say the full meaning of who is dash. World Happy Organization. World Health Organization. Wound Health and Organism. For handle and ointment. Opacity. The correct option is B, World Health Organization. Option B, quiz created. So I'll have to remove this one. I'll just check if it's the quiz is an object. So let me run the admin test one more time. Okay, so what is it saying? Add a second quiz. Timeout. Okay. Duplicate. Okay, yeah. So this is supposed to be 2, not 1. That question number is the question number 2, not number 1. Okay, so everything passes. Right. Let's come over here to the users part. What do users do? Answer questions. I'll simply just copy what I did for admin, at least this login part, but I'll change it to users, to work for users. So I'll then say, oh, sorry. I'll then say describe tests for users, of, for users routes. Then of course, I'll just paste that in there, but I know that the email is hookupjunior, the password is hookupjunior. Of course, this is going to be user token. And of course, there's no user token, so I could create it down here. I could say, let's user token. And you can do this also. Mm. Oh, okay. I was thinking I was writing TypeScript. So I could just do this. Let's use that token. I could just assign it to an empty variable, whichever response.body.token, beautiful, fine. Expect the response to be 200. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to answer some couple of questions. I want to be able to get a question, right? So let's get that question. So I'll get question number 1. So how do I get it? I'd say V1 users. Okay. Yeah, V1 users quiz. This is going to be a get request. Of course, I need to set the authorization token. So set authorization should be, oh, not bearer. Yeah, bearer actually, but I should say bearer and then token. User token. Token. Beautiful. Then I don't need this. I don't also need this part. So I'm just, okay, I'm just getting question 1. I'm expecting 200. Let me see what the user gets, right? Quiz slash question number is going to get, body dot quiz, which is this quiz. The quiz should contain question, if I'm not mistaken. The quiz model should contain the question, the option. So you can decide to check the question option A, option B, option C, the correct option. No, the correct option is not sent. So you can just say you just want to check the question alone. Or you can check questions and option, depending on you. So the question should be um yeah, a baby lion is called what? Yeah. Then let's see, how do we answer questions? Okay, so option chosen and the quiz. I think this quiz should be the ID of the quiz, if I'm not mistaken. The ID of that quiz. Beautiful. So let's see. Let's answer a question. Let's see how we can answer a question. So how do we save this now? We can say question 1 here. Question 1 ID. Question 1 ID should be what I got here. So I could say question 1 ID equals to response.body.quiz.quiz.underscore ID. Okay, get the ID of that quiz, save it there, so that when I want to answer, right, I'll say answer question. Just simply copy this here. I don't want to type too much. This will post, but I'm posting to answer a question. /user/answer a question. Send. So I'm sending the quiz, which is the quiz ID. So the quiz is simply going to be question 1 ID. The option chosen should be what's the correct option? So let's check here. Option A. Option A, which is a cup. Then I could also do exactly the same thing for the second question. So I could say, let's question 2 ID, right? Then I'll come and duplicate this. So now I'll just explain some parts. Of course, you already know this is kind of like a comment so that it can show here on the list of quiz, on the for number 2 again. Let me see. Sorry, admin. I'll just copy this full question here. Now, this is what people do. In real life, they actually test. There's what is called test-driven development, TDD, right? They write the test first before writing the route or the implementation for that test, right? So if you tell someone to, let's say you have a team and they want to make sure that the team executes maybe their code to your test as a team lead, you can write tests for them, maybe unit tests for them for each of the implementation they want, and then you give it to them. So while they are implementing, they'll use your unit test to test what they are doing to see if it is correct or not. So that would be the question. Then 2, I think I should just get the second one to correct. So I'll just say this one, the correct option is option B. Then I'll submit that. Then the next one I would want to query is yeah, to mark a quiz or to mark quiz. So I'll say mark quiz. So to mark quiz is going to be /users/mark quiz. I shall make that a post request, even if it's not necessary. It could have been maybe a get request. There is no send here, so I'm just marking the quiz. So while marking the quiz, what should I get back? I should get my score. My score should be 20. Okay, so first I would expect that, okay, I didn't test answering a question. So let me see, when I answer a question, what happens? Okay, answer recorded is what is being sent. So I'll just come here, I'll say, I expect first, I expect the response status to be 200. I expect the response dot body. The response dot body should be okay, response body dot message should be answer recorded. That's okay. I could also use the same thing for the second quiz, for the second question, answering this question. Here I say when you answer it, I want to set those two things. Mark a quiz, what do you get back? So I would say, sorry. I would say I'm expecting a status of 100, I'm expecting a score of 20, right? Or a total marks of 20. So I'd say body total marks should be 20. Then I'm expecting total answered questions to be 2. I'm also expecting correct answered questions to be 2. I'm expecting incorrect answered questions to be 0. Then I could also test quiz history, right? So let's see, let me test quiz history. Just simply copy this. Well, I would say quiz history should just return an array because it should be an array of, I'm not clearing the quiz history. So the quiz history can vary in terms of length and in terms of size. I could decide to clear it, but I'll just say that the type of the results, the type of results the type of that result should be an object. Arrays are objects too. Then since I've answered a quiz, right? The length should be greater than or equal to. So I think they should be greater than or equal to here. Let's go to just the iOS documentation to be sure. So I'm resharing my screen, guys. Um, just give me some few minutes. Let me reshare my screen. Okay, I'm sorry, this is not just.io. Oh, it's just JIO. Okay, so let's see. I think these are equal to, let's match us. If something is true, to be false, number to be greater than equal. Yeah, greater than or equal. That's what I'll do. So let's go back to VS Code. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here. Okay, so it should be greater than or equal to 1. Then I don't need those ones. Then of course, if I want to check a particular quiz history, so this will return an array of quiz history. So how do I get it by ID? Okay, we can actually skip that, right? If you want to get by ID, then the simpler way to do it would be to clear your database of all the quizzes, right? Which means there's only going to always be one quiz history, right? Then you can always use that to get the ID. So we've set this up. Then let's come back here. We can boldly come here and maybe duplicate this. We call this user.tests and we say test user. Then here you can say test user. Oh, so logging in did not work. Let's see why. Let's come back here. Let's see. Login didn't work. What was the issue? Let's see. Okay, actually, no issue. Response of body.token. This will be logging the user. Hot login, hookup@gmail.com. So let's see how we can actually troubleshoot this, make sure it works well. So first of all, user is returning 404, which means that user does not exist. 404, user does not exist. Now, what we need to do is we need to run the auth test first. So auth test is going to register all the users we need, I guess. So let's see, what did we call it? We called that auth or test auth. Wait. So let's see, to log in a user, right? Oh. Something here. Should be question 1 ID or question 2 ID and option 2. So login the user, we have user token here. Then getting this, we have a user token, authorization bearer, and user token. So let's do something. Let's log out. Okay, so let me share my screen again. I don't know. Okay, so we are back here. So what I logged out is undefined because there is no auth/login. So let's go back here. Let's see what email I used for the user. Okay, I used infreke.victor for the user. I'm so sorry. I used Victor, infreke.victor, and I used Dolcop for the password. So that's where the problem started from. Okay, so only one failed. So to mark a quiz failed. So let's see why marking a quiz failed. Here I'll go to users, marking a quiz. Okay, so it's saying that it expected it expected the result to be an object. Okay, in line 117. So let's see. So there's no result coming back when you mark a quiz, right? Okay, so this is a duplicate, sorry. This is mark quiz, this is still mark quiz. So this is a duplicate. This is what we used to check that quiz. So let's run the test user again. So you can see that if this was a real life project, if I wanted to test everything on this project, I'll just come and say, how do I test what? Okay, npm run npm run test auth. I want to test everything about the authentication. I press enter. It tests the whole auth for me. If anything fails, I know exactly what fails. If I want to test the admin, I'll just go test the admin and everything passes. Then I can now test the user. Like, okay, yeah, so let me test if everything on the user passes. Everything on the user passes. Beautiful. Everything is working fine on this project. So if there's any change I need to make that's going to affect any of this route, I don't need to test each of them again manually. I just need to run the code and I'll see exactly where the problem is coming. Right. So that's how this works. So does anybody have anything based on what I've done so far? Any question?
Yes, sir. The quiz model. When you are writing your auth for the users, you deleted the quiz model, and when you're also writing this thing, test for the admin, you also deleted active quiz model. So I don't know why you did that.
Okay, yeah, so this is the reason. Remember that if we run if you run this test like 3 times, right? You don't want the same questions to be added 3 times. For now, remember that when we were writing the route to add a quiz, we said that if you can add 2 quiz that has the same question number, look at it here. Where is it? For quiz model, we said that the question number should be unique, true. Now, we have two questions we are adding to this our quiz model, and those questions have number 1. That's their quiz number is quiz number 1 and quiz number 2. Imagine that you're running this code, you're running this test like 3 times. When you run it the first time, it will. When you're running it the second time, it will. There's already a quiz with the question 1, and there's already a quiz with a question of 2. If you don't delete this database, so the reason why I'm clearing this database, clearing this table, I don't want that to happen, right? I don't want that issue of. So now, yeah, I don't want that issue of oh, this one is repeating itself because I'm running test again. Remember that this test every static, the question is static, the question doesn't change, the part doesn't change, everything remains the same. Okay, so that's why you need this tear down, this setup and tear down. Setup can help you prepare your quiz or prepare your environment or prepare your database for the information that you're going to be sending or for the tests you're going to be conducting on your route. Or you can use it to prepare any other thing that has to do with your back end, right? Things that you want to happen before your tests start executing, you put them in this before all. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. I want to make sure that all the questions go away so that a fresh question will be added, and then I can do my testing like freely, so that at the end of the day I won't start having issues of, oh, I wrote this thing, it worked the first time I executed it, the second time I executed it. Or another thing I'm avoiding is maybe before I run this test, I have to now go to MongoDB and delete the database or delete the manually, right? I want to avoid that. So that's always or going to delete questions, right? And manually. All I'm doing here is delete the question automatically. I can decide to delete the question by the question type or by the question number, but I decided to delete everything. So it's really up to you what you want to achieve. Do you want to just delete only the questions you require? Me, I like deleting everything.
I think like this is better.
So you understand it now?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the whole concept, right? That's everything. Yeah.
So I noticed that during the auth test, that once you run it, it clears the database and creates a new one. Like it keeps clearing the database whenever you're running. So my question now is, um, let's say there is an error. Maybe the project is already live, and there's something wrong with the endpoint, and you run this test, it will automatically clear everybody on the database now.
Okay.
Meanwhile, if
Yeah, I get I get going. Now, this is the thing. What developers do is that's what they always tell you that when you're working on a project, right, that you need to have a branch. You need to have either you can have there are different approaches. Now, this is what people the main branch most times is used for production purpose. And a dev branch can be set for development purpose. Now, these two branches are going to be deployed. Let's say it can be deployed on maybe Render or on AWS, on DigitalOcean, right? Now, the dev branch, right, is going to be used for everything development. So running this kind of thing on your development branch, you're not affecting the production because the development has its own configuration. Everything is different, right? Then when you're done with development, everything works fine. Then the team lead can now merge your development code with the production code. Now, you should not run tests on production. Never. Like, I mean, on a production environment where other people like real users use. You should never do that, right? So the best thing to do, in fact, the best thing to do is either you have that development branch and then you deploy it and you have your main branch and deploy it, or you can always run your test offline. You get run your test offline and then when you're sure everything works well, you now push it. Of course, most times what happens on online is there is what is called CI/CD, right? Someone can set up um, an auto um, an, an automatic script that when once you push, it creates the environment for tests and then runs all the tests there. If every test pass, it then allows your code to be deployed. So doing this isn't bad, right? Isn't improper, right? There are ways that your then, sorry, let me share my screen again. So that's that approach of either having different branches or using CI/CD to do your to run your tests and other things can be useful. Have I answered your question?
yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Any other question?
Yes, sir, but it's not concerning this particular lesson.
Okay,
It's
yeah, we'll
about
take it after. Yeah, we'll take that question after when I stop the record.
okay, okay.
Okay. So Precious, can you make me the admin? You're the host now. Make me the host. Okay, all right. So we are done with today's class, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We should be talking about socket IO, right? Because there is currently, right, you only send a request to the server to get a response. The server cannot send a message to the front end or to the client without the client first sending a request to it. The server is just acting as though it's like if I don't ask, you don't talk. That's how the server is. So if the server is not asking anything, it won't say anything. But we can use sockets.io, right? We can use WebSockets, right? Or sockets.io to be able to send messages to our clients without the client first sending a request to us. So we are going to see how socket.io works. Now, WebSocket is the technology that enables bi-directional communication. So between clients and let's just say between two clients, right? Or you can say between a client and a server bi-directional communication. While socket.io is a library, or let's say a framework, any of them, that is built using WebSocket to make using of WebSocket easier. Okay, so we're going to see how we can use that to interact, to send information back and forth from admin to user and the rest. So most times when you see maybe you're on an app and then a pop-up comes up and you're like, I did not send maybe a request for this pop-up. Maybe you were doing something else and then the pop-up just came up that maybe something was successful. That could be sockets.io or WebSockets, anyone which is being used, sending a message or a notification back to the user that something is successful. So I'm going to see how that works in the next class. Thank you.